Yes, guys! Welcome back to another episode of the Bootcast podcast. I'm your host, Justin. I'm here with my fellow co-host, Colby. Colby, man, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I have one more kid than I had on the last podcast, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro.
That's
every
hype.
time I turn around, there's another kid. Trying to get, hey, dad, watch this. Hey, dad, watch this.
I think this
Oh
is
my
more about
gosh.
you than anything.
Yeah. They just get off your phone and look up, and no, it's usually something like very unimpressive. It's like, hey, watch this. I can jump from here to here, and I'm like,
Oh,
cool,
yeah.
bro. Yeah.
Yeah, my oldest one today showed me how he would do a cartwheel at 3, and then how he did one at 5, and then 7, and now 8. And it was
Wow.
vastly different. So,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, man.
So let's get into this. It's episode 22. Who's your favorite number 22?
I would say my favorite, but one that's very memorable to me is Isco from Real Madrid.
Oh, good choice.
Yes, dude. 5-time UCL champion, just like freaking boss in the midfield, just overall excellent player. That's my pick.
That's a good pick. I was going to say Jude, because Jude wore 22 at Birmingham, and that's when they retired. But let's be honest, I never watched Jude at Birmingham. But my choice actually is the guy who wore 22 before Isco, Di Maria.
Oh, yeah, that's
I
a
think
great
he was
choice.
like one of the most underrated wingers at Madrid. And it's like he has a really lot of clutch moments, especially in that 2013-2014 season. You know, and then, the introduction of Bale and stuff, it was just kind of time to move on. He kind of lost his place.
Yeah, that is kind of like a weird shift, isn't it? Because you kind of had that like incoming Bale, and then it was kind of like Benzema, Ronaldo, Bale, and from there, that was like one of the better front threes. I don't like we've talked about this on the podcast before. I don't think Bale got the recognition he deserved at Madrid, but yeah, definitely like a great pick from you.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I try. I don't want to pick any frauds. I didn't want to let you pick any frauds. So
Yeah,
tried something else.
It's kind of
fraud free today.
Fraud free.
Okay, so recording this on Mother's Day. Did your mother and wife have a good Mother's Day?
I think so. I mean, what more could I give them than the gift of like another life, another human?
Literally.
I mean, come on.
You're so
Like,
selfless, bro.
I'm so selfless, dude. Like I was there, bro. I was watching my wife grow that baby for 9 months. I mean, there you go.
Dude.
Like, what more do you want from me?
You were in the trenches.
Yeah, totally. What about you, man?
No, mine were good. My mom was there. My sister and her wife and their daughter. My wife's mother. My wife. No, so it was good. It was real chill. We grilled out. We had steaks. Twice baked. I had twice baked potato for the first time today. That was really good.
Oh,
Something different. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So it was a good day. Chill day. Besides the rain. Now it's really humid in my garage, so I'm dying.
Yeah.
But all right, let's get into this, man. Let's get into some boot news. You've got some new news. You did it. You pulled the trigger.
Yeah, I pulled the trigger on the Grey Days.
Woo.
Yeah, got him. Tekela V4 Pro Plus.
Okay.
So,
The sticker's
low.
still on there, so I'm assuming you have not worn them.
No, because I'm right now negotiating a good deal on the white ones from eBay. So this was kind of like one I wanted to see, kind of test out a little bit. You know, not do too much, but probably will return these.
That's okay.
Yeah. Overall, super comfy boot. Like it's definitely the comfortable sock boot that everybody's been talking about. I know you have the Harvey Elliott's, right? And we kind of compared a little bit of notes before the podcast on like what the differences are.
Yeah. So it looks like basically from what we talked about. Oh man, mine's so flushed out. Okay, so the knit on mine, it just looks like literally like a sock material.
Right,
like it's just straight sock.
Got a few ridges here.
Yeah, yours looks like it has the texture, and then your texture on the outside is different than mine, but it looks like continued from the sock, and then the inside one, again, same pattern for you. Same spot. I mean, everything's in the same spots. But yeah, yours looks more like, what yours reminds me of? Like, what's that code language? Like long. No, is it
Morse
Braille?
code?
Morse code. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's what I want to know. What that says? Like your boot is saying something in
They're
Morse
just
code.
like F you, stupid.
It's like
American.
Kendrick was the best. Drake is a pedo. Like something wild like that.
Totally.
But no. Overall, because you had the regular tequilas.
Yeah, I had the regular. Yeah, so I had the laceless, like high collared, whiteout ones. Just wasn't enough lockdown for me. Tried the Timweas, really liked those. But like so they've added the fuel cell insert, which not sure too much on what the differences are there. I will say, like, when I was playing with the older model tequilas, the ones you have, I would get like some stud pressure, like right about here, right where this center conical stud is.
Okay.
And just kind of like, goofing around with these a little bit. I didn't feel it, but wasn't in a necessarily like playing situation, so I don't know how much pressure I'll put on the ball of my foot, when sprinting and stuff. So it could come back, but TBD, man. New Balance has that, like, fuel cells, like their new thing. Like they've got a whole line of running shoes that are fuel cell. So yeah, so we'll see. Maybe it'll make a difference.
Do you think that the changes are, I don't know, welcomed and warranted, or are you kind of like, from what you remember? I know it's been a while since you've had the Timweas.
Yeah, no. I think the changes are welcome. And one thing I did kind of notice is, like, because everybody does talk about how the Hypo Knit is a bit softer, and I would agree with that. But it is like the one boot that you'll put on your feet, and it straight up feels like after like a few moments of wearing it, it feels like a sock. Like you kind of walk around and you're like, dang, this is like legitimately just lives up to that sock boot name. Incredibly comfortable. Heel lockdown, like everybody's talked about, is incredible, and it's just like the way it's shaped, because it's like an actual C shape. Yeah, definitely. It's just a different ride than everything else. Like even the Phantom GX2s, like I felt like that was like a more, for lack of a better word, kind of like stable boot. Like it gave you a lot of freedom to stretch, but not. I think this gives you more stretch. It gives you more stretch. It definitely doesn't taper as much at the toe, which is more comfortable in my opinion. I like the sole plate a lot better than the GX2. I don't like the sole plate as much as the Predator sole plate, but yeah, it's still pretty good. I mean, it's the same one as the old model, and that one wasn't bad. So, yeah, cool boot.
And like, do you still feel like it maintains, because they changed some of the structure? Do you still feel like it maintains that true literal sock feel? Or do you think that it's got enough structure now where it's not as quite as structured as the GX2, but
yeah, I think because I know that that was Footloose's complaint, right? Was that it might have had a little bit too much give, and so it wasn't really reinforced to where it had a lot of responsiveness. And that's, I feel like, TBD. Like I need to spend like a couple hours in these to see just how much give it has.
Okay.
But like even like wearing them for like the little bit that I did, I could feel it kind of giving room to my feet. Like it does feel very, very comfortable. It's not going to wrap your foot as tight as like a Pred or a Mercurial or something, but it's just your preference. Like I always say that it's your preference. So if you want something that's different, but the cool thing about having a boot like this is usually those things don't necessarily go hand in hand, where you have like excellent heel lockdown, a great sole plate, and like stretch. It's usually like if you get like a leather boot or a classic boot where it stretches a lot, the sole plate's not great, your heel's slipping. Like this thing kind of, it checks maybe 4 out of 5 boxes. So the only thing it really doesn't have is that like really tight, responsive lockdown feel. But again, I haven't played in them for more than like a little bit. So
yeah. I think the thing that I've noticed with my Tekelas, and why I do like the boot, I just don't wear them all the time, is they're that classic saying, like, they're a jack of all trades but master of none kind of boot. So it's like they're super comfortable, the upper is soft, they fit well, but it's like you said, there's no real responsiveness to it. Like it's gonna kind of give a little bit. So again, it's a great boot, but it's just like it doesn't have anything about it that sticks out to me, like you said with your Preds or like Noah with the GX2, or some of our other friends that have a lot of shout outs for boots.
Yeah. And what I will say, like, because you brought up Noah and GX2, is I watched a lot of his play tests a while back, and he was describing this as, he was like, it's like a GX2 with obviously like less grip elements, because you don't have the super raised elements or the grip knit. So it does, like, I actually kind of like that better, because I was telling you, I was like, The GX2 is just a boot that like fits my foot really well. I wouldn't even really care if it had hypo in it or not. It could just have the raised elements, whatever. So this kind of checks like that box too. It's like, okay, more comfortable. And I could probably get a good deal on these. Probably get a little bit cheaper on the market than you could a GX2. I believe it already starts. I think they're 225, so you're already starting what, like $50 lower than the low of the the GX2, not the Luna. So yeah, definitely a good option. Like I think, and I need to spend some playing time in this, but this could kind of override that GX2. I mean, the GX2 is a great boot, great fit. It's probably going to be more responsive than this, but like I said, I've got to spend more time in the boots to make sure.
Well, cool. Well, speaking of New Balance, because the Grey Day pack is perfect for two topics that we're gonna talk about today. That we're gonna start out with. Let's start out with New Balance has pretty much released its Euro 2024 colorway, and it's like this. I call it like fresh mowed grass green. It's like a lime green. Yeah, but like, you know how like when you mow the yard, like you get that green stain. That's kind of what that color looks like. It's not a bad color. It's just it's a very unique color. Green.
Yes, and it like I watched the Football Boot Hour, and I believe Andrew brought this up, but he was talking about, you know, it's kind of quick to go from Grey Day to the Lime Glo pack. And I thought the same thing. I was like, you're releasing another one already? Like I believe the Grey Days were a little bit delayed, and when they came out, he had to wait a couple weeks from when they were announced. So like I'm just able to get my hands on this boot, and you've already put another colorway in front of me, which, like, if I had to pick between this and the Lime Glo, I think I'd go Lime Glo.
Really?
Yeah, I just like, well, I saw them on feet. I saw them on Raheem Sterling in the Chelsea game. I saw a promo of Tim Weah and Harvey Elliott, and just it's a boot that, like, when you put it out in the open and you kind of have pictures of it, whatever, hanging from the goalpost, it's okay. And I'm like, yeah, it's not too bad. But then you see it on players, and you're like, dude, that looks nice. Like, they look sick in the Tim Weah photos.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's one of those things too, though. I think that the Grey Day, because, you know, every year that's kind of New Balance's thing. I think that it just kind of had the unfortunate thing of it came out right around the time as a major tournament. Because if this pack came out next year, you know, they'd probably be New Balance would ride this pack out, the Grey Day pack, until the end, and they wouldn't have the lime green. So I think that's kind of the issue. But I actually prefer the Grey Day over the lime green pack.
Yeah, it's a sweet colorway, man. It's really
different.
Cool. It's very different. Yeah, like I love like this little like little gray elements coming off here. Like, it's a really good looking boot. So, you know how I kind of had this theory myself where I wonder if, like, internally, and this is all speculation just from my brain, but I wonder, because we were waiting a long time in between like the navy pair that they came out with and these. It seemed like a very long time. They had those two, like the white black pair, but it wasn't very easy for us to get here in Texas. And I feel like this probably should have come out like maybe a month sooner, just to kind of fit that timeline. And then if they came out with the Lime Glo like they did, it probably would have been a bit more evenly spread out.
Do you think that they released the Lime Glo too early for the Euros?
I don't think so, only because we're finishing out the Premier League, and it's kind of cool to see players like Saka and Sterling, and I'm sure tomorrow I'll see Elliott sporting these, because it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's like, it's kind of like when the players will get their jerseys for next year in like the last couple games.
Do you like that?
Sometimes I do. Chelsea did that in like 2011 or 2012, and I was like, oh, that looks cool. I'm not a Chelsea fan, but I was like, oh, that looks cool. Like, that's going to be dope next year. So yeah, sometimes I like that.
Okay. See, I hate it.
You hate it?
Yeah, I like it when I get to see the jerseys like unveiled. Like, I always love the photo shoots and everything. But no, well, the reason I asked that is because on the other end, you know, Nike just came out with its new pack. I don't remember what it's called. Rising Gem? Okay, yeah. There's no ready in the word. That's why.
Yeah, I know. I'm ready. Ready what? Ready Player One.
So they came out with their Rising Gem pack, which is kind of a grayish silver pack with the shiny sole plate. But the thing that's weird to me is Nike just came out with that pack, and then we've already seen their Euro pack that's coming out, which is the pink set.
Yep.
So Nike's like squeezing in one more pack, which is weird to me. And then Adidas is doesn't have another pack coming out, I think, until the Euros, and it's the red, white, and blues.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just weird. Maybe it's just weird because it's Nike. Because is Puma doing that?
I don't even know. Like, I'll be honest, I don't know what Puma's doing.
Puma doesn't know what Puma's doing.
I know Puma right now has like, they have like their orangish. I don't know. Is that the one they're going to use for Euros? Like, I'm sure we're going to get corrected in the comments here, but I know they've got like their like orangey red right now. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It is kind of weird for New Balance to say like, hey, like we're going to ride this one out through what, July, maybe August. So it is kind of weird that they're introducing them now, but maybe they're just trying to boost sales number. Like, we're going to catch you guys at the end of the Premier League, and then we're going to catch you, for the beginning part of the Euro. So I think it's actually going to hurt Nike. Like, who's going to buy the well, for one, so you have the Rising Gem pack, which I think they look nice. Like, I like the way they do the swoosh. Reminds me of the old like Phantom Venom. I think they did that on that boot as well. But like, who's gonna buy that? Like, you're literally squeezing it in, and not only are you squeezing in that boot, you're also squeezing in like probably the last Vapor 15 in that pack, right?
I don't know if I've seen the Vapor 15 in that Euro pack actually.
Yeah, so because I want to say that boot's coming out.
Well, my thing is too is like, so you said like, oh, why would you want to do that? But for me, the problem is that Nike will do it because most regular people don't know about those pink ones. Like, most people are not me, you know, our other friends. Cool. Most people are not our other friends, so they're not going to know that. You know what I mean? So for me, like, as a business point of view, not that I agree with it at all. I actually really hate it. It makes sense for Nike to do like, oh, just squeeze one more in, like write it out.
That's true.
But from like a consumer side, that's awful.
Yeah.
Like, that's so anti-consumer.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird to me, and it's like, I wonder how many players are contractually obligated to wear certain boots in certain tournaments. Like, I do remember the Euro 2020, right, was for Nike, was supposed to be that gray pack where you had like the
neighborhood.
Yeah, the neighborhood pack, and it had like the coordinates or whatever for like cities of players, and that was going to be awesome. But then it turned into that like tealy pack. So all the players are wearing like all those teal boots for the Euros, and but what's weird in the Premier League is like, I feel like every time people should be switching to the new boots, the new Nike boots. Like, I saw what's the kid's name? Conor Gallagher, Chelsea, still wearing.
You're talking about Cole Palmer.
Well, I think Cole Palmer might be in the new.
Is he in the new silver ones? He might be in the silver ones, and Conor Gallagher might be in the bone pack.
So I feel like players are just kind of picking and choosing. I think Van Dijk was in the Mad Ready pack or the first Ready pack, whatever it was called. He's been in those forever. Like, I feel like players aren't as keen to switch anymore as they once were. So I don't even know if we're gonna see any players in these Rising Gem packs. They're probably gonna switch straight to the pink pack for the Euros.
Well, and now that we're saying it, I wonder too if this Rising Gem pack is going to be one of those packs where only like certain players that are Nike, obviously, but are under a certain age, are doing super well, are going to get them. Like, do you remember a few years ago, I want to say that Nike did it was like a Rising Star pack. And it was a specific colorway that like youngsters got. So like Marcus Rashford had them. I think like Sancho, like other young players that were kind of up and coming, they were the only ones who wore that colorway. And it was just like a cool way to be like, oh yeah, like you keep an eye on these guys. So I wonder if that's what hence the name Rising Gem. I wonder if that's what it's supposed to be. So that's why people like Cole Palmer are wearing the new ones. Okay. I could be wrong. I haven't seen or paid that much attention.
I know. What are the stories anymore? Even like when you get a pack like every month, it's like, what's the new story? What's the new?
Exactly.
But I honestly, like, I think it's a really cool pack. I think what sucks about the way the Tiempos came out in particular, and like the GX2 is still very new, so people are just gonna buy, like, if you can get your hands on a pair, you're gonna buy them. But I feel like I would have almost reordered the way the packs were set. Like, I think there were some real duds in there, and this one to me, the gray, I think is actually pretty cool. So yeah, so it's not a bad looking boot. It's just like you said, they're trying to squeeze it in between the end of the Premier League or all leagues in the beginning of the Euros.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Um, okay, let's keep going on. So you specifically hit me up earlier today because you had something that you want to talk about. What was that?
Yeah, yeah. I thought a good topic for this podcast, since we've only gotten, a little bits and pieces of news here and there, is because you and I are constantly, when we're not on the podcast, discussing deals. Like you'll hit me up, you'll be like, "Hey, bro, here's like a 9.5 in this pair," or I'll hit you up and be like, "Dude, here's like an 8 in this pair." And we're constantly kind of going back and forth. Hey, like check this out. So my topic for today was going to be how you and I what our strategies are to save money on boots, so we aren't blowing like tons and tons of money on these high end models. So yeah, so you want to go first and kind of give your process or kind of how you look for good boot deals.
Yeah, so I mean, it sounds really boring, and it's like, well, duh, that's what you do. But literally, I just go to the same websites like as boots come out, and I just will start scouring them. And like certain companies like soccer.com, for example, them and ProDirect, like you pay like a small membership fee one time, and you get a discount. And so you can, and sometimes like you have to have that membership in order to get like the Rotero, for example, from soccer.com. So I'll kind of do that. And then some companies like Soccer Pro, they always will have like their they'll say like MSRP, but add to cart, you get a discount. And then I'll just use discounts from signing up on their email. So I'll get stuff. I'll try Josh's code. Like I always go to Josh's website. Yeah, SR4. Usually his coupons are like SR4U is pretty easy. Yeah. But I'll plug those in and I'll start seeing it, and I'll compare people's prices, and I'll just go through every website. I'll Google the boot and just start going through, and I just religiously will search, because some people will buy boots, send them back. Sometimes we'll get second waves. Like that's how we found the Montebellunas.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yeah,
we randomly found those Montebellunas because they just randomly got a
months
restock.
later, they had a huge stockpile of them.
Yeah,
too.
we were just Googling and grazing. So those are kind of the main ways that I shop. Now I follow a lot of resellers through Instagram too, and you just build relationships with people and you talk to people, and sometimes you have people that are like, "Hey, I've got this boot, I can do this deal," and literally it's honest negotiations. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I want to spend this. Oh, well, I don't want less than this. And you just kind of go, and either you shake hands and you agree to a deal and you pay and you go about your way, or you don't and you just walk away. And maybe you get the boots cheaper later on, maybe not. Yeah, it's not super glorious. It's pretty boring the way I do it, but that's just how I do it. I just obsessively search boots all the time.
Yeah. I'd say, that's all good. Yeah, that's all good stuff. Like negotiating, like with resellers, is always good because you can always probably talk them down just a little bit. And yeah, you want to always have like your website, a backup website, a backup website. Like something like soccer.com, you obviously want a membership. We got soccer, you can have a membership. Yeah, and then like you said, like there's always going to be kind of similar coupon codes. My advice would be, number one, be patient. Be very patient, because a lot of times, like these New Balance boots that are coming out, like the new Tekela, I would wait, because right now when boots first release, they're always going to be excluded from promotions. It doesn't matter if it's going to be a super popular boot, not a popular boot, they're always excluded from promotions. So you almost have to get that process at least a month. But you can, websites will actually let you check quantities now. So you can go to something like soccer.com or Unisport, or We Got Soccer, and it'll say like low stock, or hey, we only have like 3 of these left. Like Adidas is very good at that. They'll say we have 8 left, 7 left. So I'll kind of keep an eye on that. So if it's getting close to the wire and there's only like 2 left and you really want the boot, then you can go ahead and pull the trigger. But holidays are always good. Obviously not something like Mother's Day, but Memorial Day, Labor Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Black Friday. All that good stuff, Cyber Monday. So if you really like something, if you think the store will hold out on that boot until the holiday, always wait. And if you feel like you missed like something will come back around. So be patient for sure. That's how I get a lot of my deals, is I'll kind of wait for a holiday. And then if you have certain points at websites, you can add on those points. and you always can get like free shipping from most places if you're buying a pair of boots, unless it's like Unisport and they're shipping them to the States. But yeah, that's my biggest strategy. And something's limited, just be prepared to pay full price.
Yep.
Like that's the unfortunate part of limited boots, limited quantities. I know that there's like another Adipure 11 Pro Tony Cruz maybe gold colorway that's coming out that I'm like, I don't know. Have you seen those at all?
Yeah, I saw them in training, and then I just saw them on Footy Headlines the other day.
Yeah, so I'm not even gonna try. Like that's a boot you obviously can't be patient for. But for most regular releases, yeah.
And I think that's kind of like the real big thing that you say is like there's certain boots, guys, that if they're limited edition, especially if they're numbered, just pay the money. If you really want them bad, like. And you're going to miss out on boots. Like the Trent Alexanders you really wanted, you missed out. The Roteros, I absolutely love the Roteros. I had to pay full price both times because I wanted them. But, certain boots like the Pred 30 that came out, I wanted those. I tried to get them. I can't get them, and now you're going to be paying triple over.
Right.
So don't, like, you have to be smart with when you buy boots. Like if it's crazy limited and it's crazy limited, and like you said, if you want them, just pull the trigger. Don't fool around because you will miss out. But then on other boots, like what's a boot that just came? Like here's a prime example: the Predator Elite with the tongue. Okay, everybody and their mother is going mad for them. We know that. I like them. You like them. All of our friends like them. Please, for the love of God, do not pay these insane reseller and scalper prices. Like I love this boot, dude. I absolutely love the Rotero. Short Rotero update, still fantastic. I had a little bit of rubbing. Overall, I still love the boot. But for example, like paying $350 for these is high, but I absolutely love this boot and I think it's worth $350. But I've seen people that are trying to sell the Rotero right now for $800. This is not an $800 boot.
No.
You know what I mean? It's not. No. And I know that most people who are paying for the regular Preds right now are paying upwards to like in the 320s to 400 range. That's kind of where the FTs are. Guys, just be patient. Adidas is constantly redropping the same boot. I've seen the Solar drop get dropped on Adidas now. The Solar Yellow. It's come out like 3 times. And they're redoing every size. Yeah. Other websites are getting them. Like, just be patient. The boot is good. I know you want it. Just chill out, because if you continue to pay those prices, that means that scalpers know that people will pay that, and they will continue to go up and up and up, and then pretty soon, before you know it, all the FT Preds are going to be what $500-$600, and it's not worth it. No boot is worth that. We've talked about this. Even Noah has said like there's certain collector's items that I would buy for those kind of prices, but to wear, absolutely not.
Yeah, absolutely. And to kind of go at that point, what I'll say is if you're looking at somewhere like an eBay or one of those types where it's like you have a third party in between kind of helping you negotiate the deal, with those kinds of sites, like what I'll do if I want a pair of boots, I don't want to pay full price, is I'll go ahead and look for pre-owned in my size, especially if it's a more recent boot, because like it's usually going to be somebody that was like, hey, wore this once, wore this twice, didn't like it, and they'll usually give you like an amount, and you can usually put in best offer. So if you don't agree with the price that they're putting out there, you can put your own price in, or say like, yeah, I think your shipping's too high. Like people message me a lot on eBay and say like, hey, like I'll go at this price, and I'm negotiating right now actually on a pair of white Tekelas that I've been wanting that have been hard to get. So we'll see if I get those or not. So so there's always like wiggle room there, like you said, kind of with resellers or even pre-owned, because sometimes like pre-owned boots, or like if people like we have like obviously our boot group, and we'll kind of pass cleats around, which is like the nice part about being in a community.
No, and that's the thing too, like when it comes to pre-owned boots, use common sense. Like if, like you said, like for example, the boots, the white Preds that Julio sent you, he brought the price down, and he wore them. I think he even told us he wore them once. And then he got the FT model. So he's like, I don't need these anymore. Yeah. So like things like that, that's obviously makes sense. But if you find a pair of, I don't know, Hyper Venom Phantom 1s and they're missing a stud and the upper is ripped and everything. Do not pay what some of these people are asking. Like, again, no boot is worth that. You know what I mean?
I've seen some Tiempo Legend 5s on eBay that's like $300 and it's just beat to shit. And I'm like, who's gonna pay that? Like your sole plate is ripping from your upper. Like my toe could go through there, and you're charging $300. It's like, what are you? What?
I had a guy that was selling Predator FTs on a website. The upper literally had a hole in the strike skin, and he had torn off 2 studs. I think a dog got it because like the way that this was broken, it looked like a dog got it. He was still asking $250 for it.
Get out,
what
guys.
Are you doing? What are you doing? It's a broken boot. You know what I mean? Like, guys, just use common sense. Like, that's not hard. And then, like you said, I think eBay can be a great place to find boots. Again, I think you have to use your best judgment. You have to really watch out. Same with Instagram. I think that other apps that I use are Mercari. I like to use Poshmark sometimes. I know our friend Mark is
Mark gets some good deals.
He's really big on Poshmark, and you know sometimes it is if some mom doesn't know what her son had, she just cleaning out a room, selling it. You know, so you can find some good deals. Some people know what they have. Yeah, man. What are some other things that we like to use? I've started to dabble a little bit into Goat and StockX. I've dabbled a little bit. I know some people say like be careful because fakes do still come through there, but I feel like you have a pretty good authenticity. But again, it comes to the same thing. Like some people, those websites are for resellers and they do it like a sneaker market. So some of those prices are insane and I won't pay them. But some people do have like genuine good deals on certain boots. Like I found a pair of it was a pair of SG. Now, granted, we live in Texas, so we don't really need SG boots. But it was a pair of SG Montebalunas, and they were already sold. But he sold them for $120. And those websites have to be brand new in box. Yeah. So you can't buy a used pair. So $120 for a pair of super limited edition, really good quality boots is awesome. So again, just be smart. Like use common sense.
Yeah, use common sense. Yeah, and that's kind of the, like you said, the SG. That's kind of the hit you'll take a little bit on getting these models that are a little bit older. I've been looking at some Tiempo Legend 8s, the platinum ones, and a lot of them will come through Japan on eBay. And so I'll flip through the pictures and I'll look at the sole plate. I'm like, what the F is that? It's the HG sole plates. Look different. Yeah. So I'll be like, that's not. Like that's fake, and then I'll be like, "Oh no, like that's HG, like that's just that's how they do it in Japan." So
yeah, I was gonna say different markets have different things for sure. Yeah, that's a big one. And I would say another thing to be wary of, and I'm sure you know this, is like the age of boots. Yeah, like boots are only designed to last so long, and especially if people have kept them. Like I know old manias people like to preserve and stuff. Like you have to be really careful wearing those because they will break, they will fall apart. Like they're not designed to last forever. So if you see a boot that's like, for example, Hypervenom Phantom 1, that boot's durability when it was brand new was already pretty terrible. And now you're talking about a boot that's 10 plus years old. It's going to be even more terrible. So like when you are going after boots, again, some boots are made, or some boots at this point in their lifespan are just collector's items. They fill in a spot on your shelf and that's it. And that's okay. And if you want to spend the money on them, that's cool. And again, sometimes old boots like, not the Legend 9, but like the Legend 8, you can find for around, I've seen them for around $130 in my size. So you can kind of
$129 today.
Yeah. It's a great boot. It's an older boot, but just because something's older doesn't mean it's worse. Right. Now, some boots are worse. Like Vapor 6, Vapor 7, terrible boots. Yeah. Don't buy those. But again, just because it's a new gen of that boot is out doesn't mean the old one is so outdated you can't wear it.
Right. Yeah, and I'm glad you just brought that up because I'm going to say too, like a big thing too is when you transition from one generation to the next, usually that prior generation will go down a lot. So like we were just talking about this Rising Gem Pack, those Vapor 15s, like get like as soon as the Vapor 16 comes out, the number on those is going to go down. Yeah, I remember I got a really good deal on the Legend 7s when the 8s had just come out. And and those were still sick. Like, and I had no problem buying the previous generation. I knew I was going to get the 8s at some point, so I was like, whatever. Like, I'll get the old ones, and then so you can always do something like that. Like, I know at the end of the Tiempo Legend 9 lifespan, there were so many people commenting saying like, I've stocked up, I've got like 3 Tiempo Legend 9s, and I'm just going to try to like last, because they're the last ones with leather. So that was a really big one that people picked up a lot of pairs on.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, like you said too, like the I've been kind of eyeing the what Superfly are we on right now? 9? Are we on Superfly 9?
I could
whatever the current gen Superfly is. The Ready pack. So it was the white one with the black swoosh, and it had like the little bit of red in the heel. Mm-hmm. You can find those in almost every size right now for about $150. That's a current boot that's almost half off.
That's
so
wild.
Again, not always needing the brand newest colorway. If you're just patient, you can get pretty good discounts. I've seen the Pred Strike that you had, the orange ones. Mm-hmm. Some websites have those for roughly like 180 to 190 brand new.
Yeah. Dick's has them for 190. You can get them on a flash sale for 150. Like, there's always like, in like these I saw on Dick's right now, they're new for 212. So and then like you catch a flash sale on these, you can get these probably for like close to 150 as well.
Yeah, I've seen the emerald, not the pearls. The pearls have been sold out.
Pearls are gone.
But I've seen the emerald Tiempos on websites for less than $200 now. Shipped.
Yeah. Yeah, do you think, like, just as an overall trend, because I noticed this with the Crazy Fast. I remember early in the life cycle for the Crazy Fast, we were like, dude, it's like we're getting close to Christmas, and these are already like almost sub like $200 on a $300 boot. And like you're saying, the same thing is kind of happening with the Superflies. So is it that when people look at them, they're 3 colorways behind? Like, why are these big price drops happening with something like boots like that start off like kind of close to that $300 range? I think
it gets to a point where retailers have like a bottom line, and they're just like, we got to get rid of these.
Get this out of here. I mean? Yeah.
Like, I always have an ideology of some money is better than no money. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And there's some retailers who they pay a certain price, because let's be honest, I know these retailers don't pay nearly what they charge, because they get them from Nike. That's how it works. Okay. And Nike doesn't pay these sweatshop kids in China or whatever anything what they charge. But long story short, so they pay less. So I think that the retailers will get to a certain point where they're like, okay, this is the floor. Like, this is what we paid. We got to make maybe a couple bucks more, and we're good. Obviously they want to sell them for full price and make as much profit as they can. But it gets to a point where they're just like, just get rid of them, sell them.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another good point. Like, if you like to travel to a lot of soccer shops like Justin, and you're not as lazy as me, who just orders all of his boots offline, they do have like clearance sections. Like, every single boot store you go to is going to have a clearance section. So you may get lucky. I always try to look for the silver boxes, obviously from Nike, and then it's usually pretty easy to find like some diamonds in the rough there.
Yeah. And then I would say my final kind of thing that you can do is you can go boot hunting. Now, in the day and age that we are, it's really hard because so many people do this as like a full-time gig. Hit up your Rosses, your Marshalls, your TJ Maxxes, your Burlington Coat Factories. You can find some. Oh, yeah. So see, look at that. $170 ball, and he got it for $13.
Well, typically you got it for me for $13, but yes.
So, you can do things like that. Now, again, you may have to, like, when I go hunting, I will spend literally a whole day, and I will drive around the Metroplex just checking all these different places. It's very in and out. But I've seen Copa Pure Pluses at some. I've seen Puma Future Ultras. What else? I got a pair of Nike Vapor 11s in the, I think they were called the Elite Pack. They were like lime green, silver. I got those, $20. Most of the time, again, Ross, and if Ross is charging $20, they pay $6. So they're going to make their money on you, so they don't really care either. But again, if you really want a good bargain, you do have to put in a lot of work, but you can find those deals.
Yeah. Did you ever watch that kid that would go to all those Rosses like in a day and do Luke Gurr, like that?
Yeah, you see Cleats Instagram. I don't think so. Okay. he had his like original page, like I think it was Instagram got shut down.
Oh,
so I think at that point he's like, I don't want to redo it all. But yeah, that's what he did. And like I had a friend before he passed away. That's literally what we used to do. The same thing. We would just we would find a whole day that I'm off, start in the morning, and we would just work our way all the way out east, and all the way back west. And you could find some deals.
Yeah. Especially like on jerseys too. Like, I mean, it's just like
Burlington is the place for jerseys. If you have a Burlington co-factory near you, and you want a good jersey, I've had I got a Man United player issued jersey there. It was like $11.
Nice.
So yeah, you can definitely get some steals.
Awesome, man. Trying to think if we haven't covered anything. That's like I feel like we did a pretty good.
I say the season's kind of winding down. Everybody's kind of getting ready for the Euros. I haven't bought any new boots right now, guys. I took the month of May off because I plan to hit it pretty hard in June.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You went heavy. You went heavy around that Rotero time. Like you may have spent a little too much.
The double Rotero hurt. Yeah, the double and then the GX2 because I bought the GX2 at the same time, and it just sucks that those suck.
Yeah. Oh, real quick piece of advice. I didn't get this out there. So somebody like me, because I'm not like Justin. We've discussed this on the podcast before. Where like if I get a boot in and I see something that I like, if the boot still has a good amount of value, I will sell it. Like I'll sell it for just like a little bit for whatever I paid for it. I'll sell it like as used if I played in them before. And I'll try to recoup as much money as I can, and then I'll move on to the next boot. That's how I do it sometimes to save some money, especially if what I'm wearing, like I really think I'm not going to like and I want to try something new. I will. Like I had a buddy that I did sell my GX2s to. His Copa Mundial's ripped, so it was actually kind of cool. It's cool to see one of your friends who's played in like some Copas playing something modern. I'm like, I did that. Like I did that for that guy. Like I literally like pushed him forward like 50 years or something. You know, like
it's like you brought a caveman to like modern times.
Yeah, it's like I showed like a lighter to like a caveman. Exactly. It's like, here you go, buddy. Here's some grip knit. Like there you go. You're playing so well.
No, yeah, that's good. Yeah, look, like I said, be smart when it comes to buying used boots. Be smart.
Good advice.
Cool. And with that, I think we will wrap this. We will wrap this podcast up today, man.
There you go, bro.
Let you get back to that newborn baby.
Oh, that's right. No. Right. Hey, honey, I've got to go record real quick. Yeah.
All right, Colby.
Right?
Tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me at Kicking With Colbs on YouTube and on Instagram, where I will be making some boot videos here in the future. So
he's lying. He doesn't.
Yeah.
And you can find me.
Future.
You can find me at Texas Cleat Collector, Instagram and YouTube as well. Now, still only one video, but I'm getting there. And you guys can follow us at Bootcast Pod. If you have any ideas for the pod and you want to let us know, send us a message or comment below. We really like those, and I think we respond to every comment.
I think so. Yeah, either you or I will. Yeah, whoever gets to them first.
Yeah.
So.
And if you ever see somebody like at Poet Anderson, that's me. That's just like my private account that I use, but I comment back on all of them. So just so you guys know, there's not some like weird guy stalking our page.
Yeah.
All right, man. With that, we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.
See you guys. Thank you.